thingamajigger. Thanks. Call a meeting, regular meeting for January 20th to order at 8:15. 8:45. All right. I will get you to join me in the prayer, our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I can't read any faster, Daryl. That's my mandate. I'm going to learn this in the next 4 years. Yep. We have the declaration of pecuniary interests, if any. Seeing none, we shall move on. Adoption of agenda. Moved by Kathy Regier, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region adopt the agenda for the January 20th, 2016 meeting. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Dave Mackay, seconded by Kathy Regier. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region adopt the minutes of December 16, 2015 regular council meeting. All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of moved by Kathy Regier, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the attached schedule of general purpose accounts in the amount of $2,531,922.68 and water fund accounts in the amount of $5 million? Okay, sorry. 500, I was getting nervous there. $507,352.95 for the period December 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2015, and that the above accounts be paid. Any questions? Councillor McLaughlin.
This would go either to Marcia or Christine. Do we not, are there livestock claims? Do they don't come to council anymore? Okay. I didn't know that we had voted on that, but anyway, I went through and I noticed that I assume there was some livestock claims were paid out.
Yes, that came to council quite a few months ago.
Excuse me. Any other questions? All those in favor? Carried. Sure you can. I'll just sign. I'm good with that.
So, moved by David Mackay, seconded by Kathy Regier. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region receives and files the departmental reports from Treasurer, Public Works, Building Department, Environmental Services, Fire Department, and REEF. So I don't know if you want to go through them all, or anyone has any comments, questions?
Well, is there a treasurer report? Anything to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, any questions to Marcia? Okay, and Bill, have you got anything to add to your report?
Just that December was quite easy on our salt budget. We were able to continue with the regular public works stuff. We got some extra work done this year, so, and then winter hit with a vengeance between Christmas and New Year's.
10-4. Any questions to Bill, for Bill?
Yeah, just a question on that issue on for the street, True Love Street, and 40% of the water coming into the lift station. Now, I believe that was going to be monitored. Any updates on whether that has resolved a lot of the inflow issue?
We won't know for a while, Chris, whether it's affected it much or not, but we will be going back down periodically and just checking to make sure that the repair held and make sure that it doesn't reappear somewhere else.
So that was 40% of the total water, or 40% of what they think might have been the inflow issue? So
the number was thrown out there that it looked like it could be 40% of the total water that was coming out of the lift station, yes.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
Doug, you got anything to, any more questions for Bill? Okay, Doug, anything to add?
Yes, just want a correction on the tourist booth, site meetings on January 25th, not the 22nd. And the Beachburg Arena, we're going to be starting in 3 weeks, the accessibility job. There's an old water line that goes to the Beachburg Arena that was put in probably 1963. And it goes across part of the parking lot. Huey said that this might be a good time to do it because it's going to be running pretty close to the accessibility ramp. Other than what I provided you here, Bill has informed me that when we cut up the pavement in the parking lot there, to repave it, it could cost us $9,000. So do we want to fix it now, or do we want to wait until it happens and then fix it, or it's a council decision?
I believe that it's a plastic line in there, and any trouble we've had with it so far has been connections. So if we had some indication that connections wouldn't be under the ramp, we'd probably be okay to go ahead without fixing or replacing. It's what is it? It's probably a 75 PSI line, red stripe. Not a real good line, but
The piece that we took out this year, because we had an issue there already.
Yep.
What it was a stone had penetrated the line.
Oh,
Actually, I had the piece in my truck. The backfill wasn't done very well. That was going to the back of the arena. So I think it was Ross England that had, over the course of time has been telling Huey, you should look at replacing this line. You should look at replacing this line. So he came to Doug and came to me and said, we should do this before we do all these renovations. So I said, well, this is a bad time of year to be trying to dig up a parking lot to put in a water line. I said, what if you just brought it outside the building, put a curb stop in for now, and then, in the future, if there's a problem, then we can look at hooking you up with a new line. At least the infrastructure from approximately 6 feet outside the building into the building would be there. It could sit there dormant until there was a problem, or redone this summer, whichever.
do we own any land on the east side of the building, like enough to run a water line along the east side? It would be no farther to go around that side, and we could do it without cutting any parking lot.
Around the septic system, you mean?
Yeah, around, or we can, like, there is a 4-inch line runs right across the, right across over to Barry Stevens's house that we
on
own in
Hume
there.
Street.
Yeah, to Hume Street.
To Hume Street.
It's all right.
You don't own that land, but if you, I could take it to the fair board, and probably, I'm sure we can get a permission to put it through there. Even the septic system's on our land.
We're not sure about that.
Get lost, Bill, it's on our land.
But that's an option, and I would still say that we should look at that instead of tearing up parking lot. But that's a suggestion from me.
I don't, where Huey wants to come into the building, or where the best spot is to come into the building, is right at the edge of the parking lot. So I don't know if that, like, to go across and around and come back in around the septic, I don't know if that would be, it would certainly be a lot less. but could we come in between the septic and the parking lot? We could look at that like in the spring.
Yep, and we could come in, there's several ways you could come in, because there's several places you could tie in there.
Absolutely.
Councillor Jackson?
But I think to proceed now, I think the best result is what Bill has suggested, do the curb stop, and then discuss all of this at a later date whenever we're ready to do this, because we're not ready to do
No.
what you're suggesting anyways. And
I know.
I think the best solution is to go with Bill's suggestion
Sure, that's fine with me too, I don't care.
for now.
It's really,
If we do the curb stop where Huey wants to do it, we're gonna have to cut the asphalt.
no, well, and that's not gonna save anything.
Yes, but it won't, where we cut it for the entranceway will be very minimum.
Another possibility is to use a pounder and just bring your plastic line in, tie in near the fire hydrant, and just put your pounder in under the parking lot and come out on the far side.
The first issue was the Beachburg Rec Association would pay for the digging, I believe. They would pay for half of the plumbing labor, but then they were going to request that we pay for material and half of the plumbing. So that was what council needs to be deciding on too. On top of, like, if we forget about the paving for now, like, even if we went ahead right now, it's very minimal what we'd be looking at, and then we could try and arrange it so that we can stay out of the parking lot for now. I think the biggest thing is council willing to go ahead with paying for that portion of it right now.
Councillor Jackson?
A suggestion is that we take some money out of the Ottawa River Power Corporation to pay for that extra.
Well, that's what it's for.
So do we just need consensus because they were looking at starting tomorrow?
Start.
Well, tomorrow would be too late to decide. Yeah, I think we should. Councillor McLaughlin?
I have to agree with Councillor Jackson. I would be in favor of going ahead with this, but that the money be taken out of the Ottawa River Power. I don't know, do you need a motion for that?
I don't think we're at that stage yet.
Direction is fine? Okay.
Consensus,
There's a lot of facts and figures in all these reports, but so for the public record and for the sake of Connie, I'd just like to point out at the bottom of Doug's report, I think this is extremely exciting, that according to the planning department at the county, the Township of Whitewater region has the most activity regarding severances, rezonings, minor variances, and general inquiries as to property in Renfrew County.
right on. Councillor Jackson?
That uses Renfrew County for their services.
Oh, hit after hit. All right. Any more questions for Doug? And I think the answer, Bill, was go ahead. That was my understanding. Everybody shaking yes, so that's the answer. Any more questions for Doug?
No, I just want to report that we've had 2 good years. We're averaging very close to $10 million in construction in the last 2 years, so we're doing good.
That's excellent. All right then, Steve, do you have anything to add to your report?
No, I do not, Mayor Johnson.
Any questions for Steve? Thanks, Steve. Oh, Councillor McLaughlin.
I'm just thinking, I don't know whether it needs to go to Steve or where, but I think we need to have some kind of a discussion somewhere on the water rates and looking at the rates and maybe taking a look, because I think there's some things that are fair, some are not fair. There's some that are, we're charging too much some places. So I don't know where you want to have that meeting, but I think it needs to happen. even if it's after we finish our budget, but
It's scheduled to be before we do our water budget completion. We have it on there to be discussed.
are you going to have that during your budget discussion? Is that what
On the water rates
Okay.
and the water budget, absolutely.
Very good. I don't want it to go past because there are a lot of things I think we need to have a look. And I did read Marcia's email, but I obviously haven't got back to you with my comments.
Thanks, Steve. It's been
You're
great.
welcome.
It's been a slice. Chief Ebner.
Nothing.
Who will be in the future referred to as Chief Hebner. By law. No comment? Any questions for our fire chief?
New chief. The new chief.
The new chief. No longer is he the, anyway, has anybody got any questions for our fire chief? Thank you, Wayne. And the report from the Reeve, he's away right now, pretending he's having fun, so that will definitely be no questions for Reeve Miller. All those in favor of the reports? Carried. We're reversing rules.
Okay, moved by Kathy Regier, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region adopts the minutes of the January 6th and January 13th, 2016 Council and Committee meetings.
All those in favor? Carried.
And now we have resolutions from the January 6th Council and Committee. Be it moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Terry Miller. I guess that's an issue because he's not present. Could we have a new seconder? Sorry? No? Terry Miller on that. Oh.
Oh, we are, since you've banned me from reading.
So, moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Kathy Regier, be it resolved that the Environmental Services Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends that Council accept the preliminary Phase 1 and 2 report from the Municipal Class Environmental Assessment for the Cobden Wastewater Treatment Plant upgrades.
Any questions? That was our public meeting last night to address this. All those in favor? Carried.
Moved by Charlene Jackson. Are we okay? Seconded by, again, Terry Miller, if that could be changed. Sorry, I should have caught those before. You're doing a fine job, Hal.
Oh, we need a new seconder.
We got it, yeah.
Okay.
Moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Kathy Regier, be it resolved that the Environmental Services Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the December 17th, 2015 invoice from JP2G Consultants, Inc. related to project management for the Cobden Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrades Project in the amount of $3,845.93 be paid.
Any questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Moved by Chris Olmsted, seconded by Charlene Jackson. Be it resolved that the Corporate Services Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends that Council support the request from Admiston Bromley to partner in a grant for the purchase of snowshoes and a part-time program coordinator for outdoor programming at Opeongo High School. The commitment is $500 for each of the next 2 years.
Any questions? All those in favor? One, two, against. Questions? More questions, or?
No, you said in favor. I was waiting to hear opposed.
Yeah, I was coming to that, but I had to count because there's 2 opposed, I presume. So there's 2 opposed and 3 in favor. Okay, carried. 4 in favor, sorry. I did too. Yeah. Okay, carried.
Opeongo? Oh, people say it both ways.
Opeongo.
So now, the list of bylaws, moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Chris Olmsted. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approves the following bylaws be introduced, read, dealt with, numbered, signed by the mayor and clerk, and sealed and recorded in the bylaw book. 1601-836 Magnesium Road Allowance. Shall I just read off the list and then you'll discuss them one by one? 1601-840 appoint certain officials. 1601-841 temporary borrowing. 1601-842 provide for interim tax. 1601-843 committee of adjustment. 1601-844 appoint fence viewers, etc. 1601-845 employment bylaw number 25.
Any discussion on Magnesium Road? None. Appoint certain officials. There's a list there. Any questions? Temporary borrowing. Provide for interim tax. Committee of Adjustment, fence viewers, Councillor McLaughlin.
I think if you go back and look at bylaw 16-1-01-843, your appointments, I think there's a clerical, it says passed on the 20th day of February.
Yeah, that needs to be amended to January.
Thank you, Councillor McLaughlin. Any other questions? We're going to correct that, actually.
Yep. Done.
We'll make it today's date. Employment bylaw number 25. Any questions? Councillor Olmsted?
Were there any changes from this bylaw to the previous bylaw?
Yes, there were, and I had sent an email to, I believe it was just the Chair of Corporate Services that I emailed. I made a miscalculation on the Consumer Price Index. I did it November to November, which was 1.3, and then when we saw the article in the local paper, Marcia pointed it out about LV's rate at 1%. That gave me pause for thought, and I went back and looked at our policy. I made a mistake. It should have been October to October, which is 1%, so it's been corrected to that.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Carried.
That schedule is corrected to 1%, and all the recalculations have been made. We can sign all this stuff after.
Sure.
Okay.
Moved by Charlene Jackson, second by Chris Olmsted, be resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region receive and files correspondence 1 through 6. Any questions? Or do we want to go through them? Any questions on correspondence? All those in favor? Passed. Carried.
This next one came to us as a request for a couple who would like to use the township property in Haley Station beside their home for their wedding in August. We talked to our,
Sorry.
Anyway, I can't, did I write a brief report for you on this in your package? It's there? Okay, I just don't know. I've shuffled that piece of paper somewhere. Anyway, so, and there is a barn on the property that the municipality owns. So basically, I've structured the motion that the barn is off limits because we have no idea what shape it's in, and having party-goers in a barn that municipality owns. And it's my understanding they would be fine without using the barn because they intend to erect a 40 by 80 tent for their wedding. And we have a list of stipulations from our insurer. So here's how the motion reads. Moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Chris Olmsted. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region agrees that the municipal property located at 532 Sullivan Street in Haley Station may be used for a wedding in August of 2016 upon the conditions that the barn structure will not be used and is off limits, and that locates will be ordered by the township for the 40 by 80 tent before the 40 by 80 tent is erected, and that the requestors provide proof of insurance as outlined in an email from Municipal Insurance Services Limited. An agreement will be drafted to include all of these stipulations, and legal counsel will review said agreement before the township enters into it.
Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Councillor announcements.
Yeah.
Councillor McLaughlin.
I'm just going back to correspondence, 11-4, and are they looking for support for that motion, for the resolution?
Normally, when resolutions are circulated to us, if they don't ask specifically for support, if you wanted to support it, that's great, and I'd be happy to draft something. That specific request hasn't been made. We're on the list of it to be circulated to. So it's sent to us for information, but you're certainly well within your rights if you'd like to instruct the clerk to draft a motion to support.
No, I'm fine with it. I just was flipping through this. Also, I'm looking at 11-6. The request for pins from the Royal Canadian Legion Ladies Auxiliary.
Yeah, we haven't ordered pins in 8 or 10 years. We looked up the invoice, and if we order them now and we're not in a hurry for them, there's a $600 discount. So I've put in we're running out anyway. So I've put in an order for 5,000. Do you remember the number, Marcia?
It was just a little over $2,000.
Okay. That's if we're not in a hurry to get them. So, and we need them anyway, and I was pretty sure that you'd want to send all of the ladies auxiliary people off to their home wearing a Whitewater Region button.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is then you have consensus that
I authorize the purchase.
No, not the purchase.
The giving of the pins.
The giving of the pins.
Yeah.
Normally, you would get consensus from council to do. I know whenever Whitewater Region, or not Whitewater Region, but the Worlds were kayaking. I don't know about the last time. I'm sure we gave them pins. I think we already went ahead and decided we would give them pins. I know the time before, but I'm just saying that before it used to be brought to councils, so I'm in favor of it. I just was flipping through it and wanted to make sure that it was being addressed and not just flipped by.
There, everybody's in favor of giving them pins? All right, consensus is such, Darrell, Councillor McLaughlin, that we will go ahead with that. Councillor announcements. Councillor Jackson. You were waving the pen. I'm going to acknowledge. Any councillor announcements? Councillor McLaughlin.
I have two councillor announcements. One, the fishing derby is on. The Civitan Fishing Derby. I was at a meeting last night and they say it is on. I also got a request and, took it on myself that, we donate 2 golf shirts to the fishing derby, so I think you can, Chantel Cartman will be coming in looking for them, so I just want to make people aware of that. It's the, February the 6th, I think, first February in February, sorry,
First weekend.
first Saturday.
Third's a Wednesday, so it's gotta be the 6th.
And then, before that, you can warm up by going to, and I'm sure that the Forster Falls Winter Carnival is on, and I think the last I heard was January the 30th. I don't have the details on what there is. They used to always have pancake breakfast, so.
Any other announcements? Councillor Rakier.
The Beachburg Carnival is also the same day. It is on the 30th of January as well. So,
Councillor Jackson.
So the pancake breakfast starts at 8:30 to 10:30. Adults are $6, children's under 12 are $4. 9 to 11 snowmobile poker run registration, $10 per hand. 11 to 4 meals are served until closing. 12 to 1 under 12 fun hockey, children's games 1 to 2, 2 to 2:30 young at heart games, 2 to 3 teen hockey, air hockey and pool tournament, 3 to 4 free skating, 3 o'clock poker run winners, 4 o'clock 50-50, 7 o'clock family bingo at the Orange Hall. That's Forster Falls.
Councillor Rakier.
one more thing, the firefighters, their trivia night is also Saturday night the 30th. So I don't know, I will be out of the country, but I don't know if there'll be anybody that might be able to get a team together. Would be great.
I'm out of the township. Okay. Any other announcements? So we will move on then to notice of motion for future agendas. I'll just ask if anybody has any notice of motions in mind. Councillor Jackson.
Not a notice of motion, but as we're going through the PDF document, I'm wondering if the scanned version or whatever, however you print off the minutes, could they be on a different color of paper whenever we get it, so that we know it's not part of the agenda, that it is part of the minutes? I don't know, because I find it very confusing that, you know, it all looks the same, because you include the agenda in with the minutes, and then
Why don't we just leave the agenda off? I've
Give us a paper
I've
copy.
always found
no,
that.
but the minutes of
Oh, I
the
see. Okay.
meeting, if they were in a different color, so that we could identify that they're not part of the main agenda package, that they are part of the minutes of the previous.
That's for the previous
Does
meeting.
that make any sense at all to anybody? Even if
it's-
you print it with a different color background, I think in Word you can do that to, yeah.
Yeah, just something to identify
Draft.
that it's the last
So there
one.
would be there'd be a document in your package then that would be on, you know, yellow appearance, which would be the agenda and then the minutes of that particular meeting, and that would flag it as,
Yeah,
sure,
that would be great.
Karen's nodding.
Councillor McLeod.
When you're talking about that, something I struggle with is when these PowerPoint presentations are put on here, it takes so much of my, I mean, when the PowerPoint presentations are made, I only look at the screen. Maybe I'm obviously doing something wrong, because Councillor Ragier is looking at me like, where's the planet, man? But I find that I've got too much stuff on my package, and I find that that's part that I don't really, but it's just one person. I mean, other people may want to read it and follow it.
Personally, I tend to look at it on the screen too. And so that's a possibility. Councillor Jackson.
Is there any movement towards the iAgenda package?
Well, at the moment, we had to get our distribution problem sorted out, so now that we've got that one done, and we'll in future, you'll be provided with, a link, to find the package on our website. We had a horrible email conundrum of having to divide the package up into pieces.
Right.
Anyway, we've worked with our web
Are you
provider.
not going towards the free module
We
for?
plan to. Yeah, we
Okay.
plan to, and we got your information about scanning we're just, now we've got distribution sorted out, that's the next thing we'll be looking at.
Very good. That sounds good. Councillor, Homestead.
I like Councillor McLaughlin's suggestion. The only issue that I would have is that when you take the PowerPoint presentation out, you can't pre-read it then. So if it's not part of the package, you're not going to have a good chance to review it before we get here.
If we have it on the website with the link, you would have the option of downloading it, I think, the PowerPoint.
Well, when you download the package, though, you're gonna
You're gonna get it all?
You're gonna get it all. All I can suggest to you is that you just fly by it because frequently that's the only information package that we get. You know, if it's an engineer's
Okay.
report or.
All right, then. So then it remains that it's a good option to leave it, actually. But you can fly over it.
If they provide it in a PDF format instead of a scanned PDF, it comes out so much clearer.
And we are working towards that. That's the goal, is that we, end up with a process with
You're
the.
printing to PDF rather than.
That's right, yeah.
Perfect.
And Karen has talked to Kayla at your office,
Awesome.
and the only documents I'm hoping in the end run that we'll end up with having to scan are letters that we receive or something we don't have in electronic format.
Yep.
But till we got our distribution issues settled, we couldn't really move forward with that, but we're limping along as fast as we can.
Perfect.
There's some good changes
Thank you.
I've already noticed there, too.
Yep.
Now, on this notice of motion, I would like to have a discussion at our next Public Works Committee meeting for no littering signs around Westmeath on several roads. It seems to be the worst place or point in the township for some reason. And, excuse me, I had a concerned citizen bring it up, so Councillor Dave and I, we had soup and sandwiches today in Westmeath. Very good, I must say. And so we took a drive on the road, and there's a lot of junk being thrown out. So it's just, do we want to put a couple of signs up? It's just, I'd like to have that discussion. So that's the notice.
And I'll add that on to do we have to separate you two? Anyway, it is on an upcoming agenda. One of the questions we raised is being able to by law enforcement for littering is a big consideration. Signs go up, but who's going to enforce it? So, anyway, we'll have that discussion at a public works meeting.
Just sometimes, even if you never charge anybody, if you just have a sign, sometimes they'll wake up a little bit. It has always been a point of contention around that particular area. Councillor McLaughlin.
Well, we can have the discussion, but signs cost money.
Yeah. Okay, put it on the agenda. Councillor Mackay.
I just want to say that the Beachburg walking trails, the Renfrew County walking trails on Government Road, the parking lot's clean now, so I'll keep it clean for the rest of the winter.
To bring the bragging rights to Councillor Mackay, I had a request from the group that does a lot of cross-country skiing at the Pines. They were wondering if the possibility would be there for the township to plow the roads, and I responded with, I'll just ask Dave Mackay. And so he's doing that now. And he just, yeah, with a broom. Anyway, thank you, Dave Mackay, and they thank you. And so that's the end of that particular subject. We don't want any more bragging about that. Moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Chris Olmsted. It be resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approves that the following bylaw be introduced, read, dealt with, numbered, signed by the mayor and clerk, and sealed and recorded in the bylaw book. 1, 16-01-839 confirmation bylaw. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. We have one more. This is the one we've been at the bottom of the pile all the time that we're looking for. Moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Chris Olmsted, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region adjourns the meeting of January 20th, 2016 at 9:30. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Thank you very much.
We've got some stuff to sign.
This looks very important. Yes. Garbage always interests you. That's being chucked out of people's cars.
Come down, Green Line on Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah, and that's, and the Zine line